that we're going to look at in this course, and very, very important data structure, just like lists and tuples. So dictionaries are exactly what they sound like. When you open a dictionary, what do you have? You have words, and then you have the meaning of those words. And so it's sort of a key and a value. The word is the key, and the value is the actual definition of that word. So a dictionary is exactly what that is. And so if I was to define a new dictionary, the syntax for that is, well, let's just call it D-I-C-T, dict. maybe that's not the right word, but let's stick with that. And so the way to define them is you use open and close curly braces, all right? Curly braces, not square brackets, not parentheses, curly braces. And so the format of what this is going to be is each item in a dictionary is a key value pair, okay? So what we could do is I can say K1, that represents the key, and then you put a colon and then the actual value, and we can say some data, all right? And so to reference, to get the value some data, I would have to do DICT, and then in square brackets, we actually use the index. Now in dictionaries, the index is not based on position. In lists, the index is based on positions, same as tuples. Tuples also use index numbers. Those are position-oriented structures. But dictionary are not position-oriented. They are key-oriented. And so I have to actually know the key that I want the data to be retrieved of. So here the key is K1, all right? And so I can just print what this is going to equal. And so let's run this and notice it gives some data. This is the actual value. And you can just obviously capture the value into a variable. So I'll just define a variable right here, dictionary at key1. This is the value, and if I print the value, it'll just print some data, okay? So this is a dictionary with one item in it. Now, if I want to put another item, I use a comma to separate the next item. And so the next item is going to have K2 or any key. It doesn't really matter. It can even be the number 7, for example. That's just a key. And then use a colon and you specify the actual data. And that data could be a list, it could be an object, it could be some other string. And so I'll just say other data in this case. And now if I need to access the dictionary at the key 7, remember this is not an index, this is a key. I would just put 7 here, okay? And I can just print what value is going to be. And so let's hit run, and notice it says other data, all right? Very important to keep in mind, this is not the index position, this is the key. So far, we only have 2 items in this dictionary, and they're both key value pairs. So this is a key value pair, and this is a key value pair, all right? Now, this is a very, very flexible data structure, very similar to other data structures. They're very flexible in Python, such as the list. Tuples are a little restricted in that you can't change them, but dictionaries, you can change them. So for example, let's say if I wanted to change other data to something else, what I could do is reference the key to be 7. And this might be confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a quote around it so that it's clear to you that this is not an index position. And so now I can't refer to it with an integer. I need to actually use the actual key, and the key is a string. So if I want to change the value of that key value pair, I could just specify the new value. So let's just do, to make it obvious, new value. All right. And so then once I do this, the value for the key 7 has been permanently changed to this new string called new value. And then I could just print the dictionary like that. All right. Let's hit run. And there we go. We're printing the entire dictionary here. And so the second key value pair, the value has been changed to new value. Same thing, if I wanted to change the value for the first item, I could just do K1 to specify the key 1 and change that to new value, all right? And so now let's run this. Now in this situation, the first key value pair, its value has been changed to new value, okay? Another important thing to note is you cannot sort dictionaries, all right? They do not mean any kind of ordering or anything. You're just supposed to use keys and values with dictionaries. So let's create something that makes a bit more sense rather than using these random keys and values. Let's say we have a dictionary that contains people and their weights. All right, so I can do people, weight, dictionary. All right, and then I can actually open and close the curly braces, and now the key could be the person's name, so let's say John, and the value could be their weight, so let's say they're 134 pounds. Okay, that's the first element in the dictionary. Obviously I need a comma to separate the different elements. So the next element is going to be, let's just do Mike, and let's say Mike is 170 pounds. And then the third item, it's going to be, let's say Robert, and Robert is going to weigh 165. Okay, and so now I can print this and you can see what it is. Now if I wanted to change John's weight, why don't you try that? Pause the video, try that out, and you can resume to watch me do it. But I would just do people weight dictionary at the key John, and then change that to whatever. Let's say John gained a little bit of weight, so he's now 190 pounds. Okay, and so we print this dictionary again, and so now notice John's weight has changed to 190. So dictionaries are mutable, right? Just like lists. Now, since dictionaries can be modified, they're mutable. There's a way to pop items from the dictionary. Remember the pop method on a list? You can pop elements. It pops the last one by default. Well, you could do the same thing. So let's say if I wanted to, after changing John's weight, let's say we want to get rid of Mike. We could actually pop Mike out of it. So you will use the pop method and then specify the key of the thing that we want to pop out. So we'll just do Mike. And so this will effectively change, it'll mutate, modify the dictionary after this line runs. And so now at this point, we'll only have two values, John and Robert, with their weights in the dictionary. So let's hit run. And there we go. Now we only have John and Robert. Mike is out because we invoked the pop method. Now for the pop method on a dictionary, you must give the key that you want to pop out, okay? In lists, I believe I talked to you about this. When you use a pop, you don't have to indicate any given index position. You could just leave it empty, like a pop method like this, just empty, and it by default would pop out the last value. But in this case, when we're using dictionaries, you must give a key. Now pop doesn't just get rid of the element, it actually returns a value. Now in a list, when we use the pop, it actually not only removed the item, it returned the item, and we can save that in some kind of a variable. So same thing with pop with dictionaries. When you do pop, it returns the value, okay? It doesn't return the entire key value pair, it returns the value. So if we name the variable weight of Mike, we get weight of Mike, all right? And so I'll also print the weight of Mike in another print statement. And so let's hit run. And so there you go. We get Mike's weight. It's 170. And not only that, since we use in pop, it eliminated the entire item from that dictionary. That's why we only have two items left. Now, similar to other methods, we could do clear. I don't know if I talked about this. There's also a clear method. You can clear a dictionary completely, right? And it'll be an empty dictionary. You can run clear on a list, and that will empty out the list. It'll still be a list, but it'll be an empty list. Same thing with dictionaries. If you run clear, it'll still be a dictionary, but it'll be an empty dictionary, all right? And this, of course, modifies the actual dictionary, so we don't have to, it's not like we're going to save this data into a new dictionary. It just clears it in place, and so now people weight dictionary will have nothing in it. So let's hit run, and there we go. It's an empty dictionary. Now I showed you how you can remove items from a dictionary by using the pop method with a given key. You might be wondering how you can add elements to a dictionary. Well, let's do that now. I can actually use a similar syntax as I would for a list by using these open and close brackets, square brackets now, and give the actual key that I want to add to the dictionary. And let's say this new key is the number 99, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And to it, I assign something. So let's just say some data so we can easily identify. And so now at this point, we've permanently modified the people weight dictionary. We've given it a new key and we've given it a new value. So if we print the contents, let's hit run, you'll see that this new data has been added to this dictionary. And if I want to access that, I can of course just access that new key by doing 99 right here. Right? Make sure you surround it with the quotes because the key is not a number. It's an actual string. And so if you want to access that data, you have to make sure you get the key right. And so let's hit run and there you go. We get some data. Now, like I said, dictionaries are pretty flexible. You can have all kinds of data in here. And so I can even have a list or a dictionary within a dictionary. So let's add another value here. So I'll just say that items, for example, is the key and the actual value is orange and banana. Right, so this is the key and this is the value. So if I wanted to see what items contains, I could just put items here. I don't need this. Let me get rid of this line of code. And so let's hit run. And there we go. We get orange and banana as a list. So this is of course going to return those fruits in a list. Now, if I want to access a particular element within the list, you guessed it, all you have to do is put hopefully you were able to figure that out. You just need brackets like this. And you specify the index position of the thing that you want to extract. So let's say banana, that's the index position 1 in that list. And so let's hit run and it prints out banana. Okay. Now let me make this a bit more complex. I'm going to move this on the next line. And instead of having items, well, I'll leave items here. And inside of items, I'm going to have a dictionary. Okay. So the first item is orange. The second one is actually a dictionary. And so we'll say K1 and we'll say nested, or we'll just say some value. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we have a dictionary in which we have a list, and inside of that list we have this dictionary. And so let's say if I wanted to get this some value, how would you do it? Why don't you pause the video and try this out, and then you can resume to watch my solution. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult. So what you need to do, if you want some value to be extracted, you'd have to first get the key for the item that contains the list. So that's items right here. We have that. And so then we have to refer to the index position of where the dictionary is, and that's here. So that's index position 1. This is the second element inside of the list. The first element is orange, which has an index position of 0. The second item in that list has the index position 1. So we refer to that 1. And now we are inside of the dictionary again, aren't we? And so I have to refer to the actual key of the thing that I want. So that's going to be K1, like that. And so let's hit run. And there we go. We get some value as expected. Now, one last thing. We're kind of just building all of this together. And I'm going to also involve a tuple now. Okay. So let me just put a comma here and let's involve a tuple. So the final item is going to be, we'll give it the key tuple. All right. And the actual tuple is going to be a list of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, again, you cannot change the contents of a tuple, can you? So let's first target the tuple. I'm going to do that outside of this print statement. Let me just get rid of this. So I'm going to do people weight, and then we specify the actual key of the object that we want, and that's tuple. And then so this is actually going to return us a tuple. All right, and we'll say my tuple. And so I can print my tuple. And let's hit run, and this is that tuple. Okay. If I want to get the third element in that tuple, I would just use the index position 2, and that will give me the third value, which is 3. Now, if I try to assign the tuple at the index position 3 to the number 99, it wouldn't even make it to this line because the interpreter is going to crash, right? Because we're trying to change a tuple. You'll see. Let's run this, and boom, there you go. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So whether it's in a dictionary, whether it's in a list, or any structure, a list is changeable. But if an item in the list is a tuple, well, guess what? Tuples are not changeable, so you cannot mutate them. You cannot change them. Same thing with a dictionary. If you have lists, you can modify the contents of those lists. You can add and remove things from a dictionary. But if you have a tuple, you cannot modify that tuple structure. Okay? Now, can I take out this tuple entirely from the dictionary? Certainly, I can, because it is an item inside of the dictionary, isn't it? So let's do that. If I do peopleweightdictionary.pop and specify the key of the item that I want to pop, it's going to be tuple. Now, the dictionary is not going to contain, it's not going to contain the tuple at all. So let's hit run, and there we go. Notice it no longer has that tuple. Now this is going to, the pop method always returns something. It returns the value in this case. So this is of course going to return the actual tuple that was removed. Okay, and so I can print that tuple right here and run it. That's of course going to be the tuple that was removed from the people weight dictionary. So play around with this. This is a very important data structure that you're going to be working with a lot in this course.